Choosing a name is one of the most personal and significant decisions that a person can make. For transgender people, who identify with a gender different from the one assigned to them at birth, choosing a name can be even more important. It can be a way of expressing their true self, affirming their identity, and gaining recognition and respect from others. But how do you choose a name that fits your gender identity as a transgender person? What factors should you consider? What tips and resources can you use? And how do you make your name change official? In this video, we will answer these questions and provide some guidance on how to choose a name that suits you and your gender identity. Why is choosing a name important for transgender people? For many transgender people, choosing a name is an essential part of their transition journey. Transitioning is the process of aligning one's external appearance and social role with one's internal gender identity. It can involve various steps, such as changing one's clothing, hairstyle, pronouns, voice, hormones, or surgery. Choosing a name can be one of the first and most visible steps of transitioning. It can help transgender people feel more comfortable and confident in their own skin. It can also signal to others how they want to be addressed and respected. Factors to consider when choosing a name. There is no right or wrong way to choose a name that fits your gender identity as a transgender person. Ultimately, it is up to you to decide what name makes you feel happy and authentic. However, here are some factors that you may want to consider when choosing a name. Personal preference. The most important factor is your personal preference. What kind of name do you like? What kind of name do you feel comfortable with? What kind of name reflects your personality and style? You may have a clear idea of what name you want to use, or you may need some time to explore different options. You may want to use a name that you have always liked or felt connected to, or you may want to use a name that represents a new start or a new phase in your life. Meaning and origin. Another factor that you may want to consider is the meaning and origin of your name. You may want to choose a name that has a special meaning for you, such as a virtue, a quality, a symbol, or a message. For example, you may choose a name like Hope, Justice, Phoenix, or Destiny. You may also want to choose a name that reflects your cultural, ethnic, religious, or linguistic background. For example, you may choose a name that is common in your country of origin, your ancestral heritage, your faith tradition, or your native language. Pronunciation and spelling. A practical factor that you may want to consider is the pronunciation and spelling of your name. You may want to choose a name that is easy to pronounce and spell for yourself and others. This can make it easier for you to introduce yourself, fill out forms, and avoid confusion or miscommunication. You may also want to think about how your name sounds and looks with your middle name and last name. You may want to choose a name that flows well and matches the tone and style of your other names. Tips and resources for finding a name. Now that you have some factors to consider when choosing a name that fits your gender identity as a transgender person, how do you actually find a name that suits you? Here are some tips and resources that you can use. Look at baby naming websites. One of the easiest ways to find a name is to look at baby naming websites. These websites have thousands of names sorted by various categories, such as gender, origin, meaning, popularity, etc. You can browse through different lists and see what names catch your eye. However, you should also remember that the final decision is yours. You should not let anyone pressure you or influence you into choosing a name that you do not like or identify with. You should choose a name that makes you happy and comfortable, regardless of what others think or say. How to make your name change official. Once you have found a name that fits your gender identity as a transgender person, you may want to make your name change official. This means changing your name legally and socially, so that it reflects your identity and matches your documents and records. The process of making your name change official can vary depending on where you live, what documents you need, and what steps you need to take. However, here are some general guidelines that you can follow. Check the laws and requirements in your area. The first thing you need to do is to check the laws and requirements in your area regarding name changes. Different countries, states, provinces, or regions may have different rules and regulations for changing your name legally. You may need to meet certain criteria, such as age, residency, citizenship, etc. You may also need to provide certain documents, such as proof of identity, proof of address, birth certificate, etc. You may also need to pay certain fees for filing the petition and obtaining the court order or certificate of name change. Gather the necessary documents and fees. The next thing you need to do is to gather the necessary documents and fees for changing your name legally. You may need to obtain original or certified copies of your documents, such as your birth certificate, passport, driver's license, etc. You may also need to fill out some forms or applications for changing your name. You may also need to pay some fees for filing the petition and obtaining the court order or certificate of name change. The fees may vary depending on where you live and what documents you need. You may be able to apply for a fee waiver or reduction if you have financial difficulties. File a petition and attend a hearing. The next thing you need to do is to file a petition and attend a hearing for changing your name legally. You may need to file a petition with the court in your area that handles name changes. You may need to include some information in your petition, such as your current name, your desired name, your reasons for changing your name, etc. You may also need to attend a hearing before a judge or a clerk, who will review your petition and decide whether to grant or deny it. You may need to answer some questions about your petition, and provide some evidence or testimony to support it. You may also need to publish a notice of your name change in a newspaper, or online before or after the hearing. Update your IDs and records. The final thing you need to do is to update your IDs and records with your new name. Once you have obtained the court order or certificate of name change, you can use it to change your name on various IDs and records, such as your passport, driver's license, social security card, bank account, credit card, etc. You may need to contact each agency or institution that issued or holds your ID or record and follow their procedures for changing your name. You may need to provide some documents, such as the court order or certificate of name change, proof of identity, proof of address, etc. You may also need to pay some fees for issuing new IDs or updating records. Choosing a name that fits your gender identity as a transgender person is an important and personal decision that can have many benefits for your well-being and happiness. However, it can also be a challenging and complex process that involves various factors, tips, resources, and steps. In this video, we have provided some guidance on how to choose a name that suits you and your gender identity. We have also provided some information on how to make your name change official legally and socially. We hope that this video has helped you find a name that makes you feel comfortable and confident in your own skin. Remember, your name is your identity, and your identity is yours to choose.
We hope you found the information helpful. We know that being transgender can be a difficult journey, and we want to do our part to make it a little bit easier. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. It would mean the world to us. You can also support our work by joining our membership. This will help us continue to create content that is helpful and supportive for the community. Thank you again for watching, and we hope to see you next time.